Stand by. The program will begin soon. I don't know why I'm talking about this. During World War II, we sent 90 million pounds of spam just to the Russians alone. I mean, we sent it all over the world. Our troops, especially in the Pacific Theater, ate it. That was basically what they ate all the time. 90 million pounds to the Russians. Apparently in like the 50s, Nikita Khrushchev said, you know, if they hadn't sent us all this spam, they might not have been able to feed their troops during World War II. So a little weird canned kind of ham pork product, canned meat, may have won World War II. And the Fed is trending on X. And I wasn't sure why, and I'm still not 100% sure why, although part of it is because of this building that they're renovating. They're supposed to be renovating one of the buildings at the Fed, right? And the other day, Donald Trump came out there with Jerome Powell, and they're talking about how the renovation of the building was kind of a little bit over budget, okay? First of all, the numbers on this are crazy. They wanted $2.something billion to renovate a building at the Fed. $2.1 billion. Well, this is $2.5 billion. But they're over budget by over $1 billion for one building. They're over budget over $1 billion for one building. $1 billion friggin' dollars for one building. This isn't even for building a new building. It's for renovating a building. What the actual F are they doing? If after a night of filling your rectum with vodka from a turkey baster, the cops find you changing a flat in the cereal aisle of a Piggly Wiggly and ask how much you've had to drink, and you say nothing, are you lying? Well, no. Now, if they had been asking, have you been injecting? You'd have to say yes, but they said, have you been drinking? Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, Lord Stanhope, absolutely not. In fact, you all can try to answer these questions. Stand by. The program will begin soon. A WNBA game got stopped in the middle of the game because one of the players lost their wig while they're playing, and they had to run off. And then some fan made fun of the player, and they had to run. And they kicked the fan out for making fun of a player losing the weave. Not a weave, it was a wig. Losing their wig. They had to have a timeout for the wig, a wig emergency. Which I'm like, why the F are you wearing a wig while you're playing basketball? But then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a game had to be stopped briefly because someone threw a big old green dildo on the floor. Someone threw a dildo out on the floor, out of the court. They had to stop the game. I don't know if they caught the person who sent the dildo, but the green dildo was on the court, and a large number of the players had no idea what to do with something of that shape, but that's okay. It happened, and then someone made this t-shirt or this meme, pay us what you owe us, which has a dildo on it. So that was fun. Hey, you know what the really good interrupt violence through community-based bystander training? Yeah, if the bystanders beat the fuck out of someone who's attacking somebody else, that would be great bystander training. They could send them to the MMA gym, you know, put them in an arm bar, smack them in the face a few times. Stop doing that bullshit. That would be the best community-based bystander training, but I don't think that's what he means. Anyway. And then the other one, they'll go back all the way to Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof's the other one, which, does anyone, okay, let me ask you something. A lot of you are right-leaning on the right. Is there anybody in this that you, anyone you know of? Is there anyone that you know of on the right who supports or supported Dylan Roof? Because I know everyone I can think of who's like, Dylan Roof, fuck that guy. He went out and murdered people in a church. Fuck that guy. But the left is like, oh, he was a right-wing extremist. Nah, he's a fucking asshole. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck Dylan Roof. Nobody gives a shit about Dylan Roof. Nobody claims him. Nobody wants him. He's an asshole. Okay? He's a little punk bitch asshole who killed a bunch of people in the church. Stand by. The program will begin soon. Reverend Robin Bartlett of First Church of Sterling, Massachusetts, uses John 1:14 of the Bible to justify why she brings her 11-year-old son to drag shows. This is what we're getting in the Rainbow Church. The Rainbow Church aren't exactly hiding. That's true. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and my body, your body, their bodies are home for the living God. That is why I take my 11-year-old boy to drag shows in the summer with my friend and fellow church leaders, Kate, and her 11-year-old boy. Especially if you're a man, bodies can be celebrated and played with. That's her message. What the fuck?
So if we're asking about
California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, him or her, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. Can you see where that might be a problem? This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic, she warned. These are unintended consequences, and it is terrifying. They are unconscionable or unavoidable. So that's one really bad California law that they're coming with. I can't believe. I'm just dumbfounded that they're doing it. Now this is interesting. That new mayor candidate, the leading Democratic mayor candidate for New York City mayor, Damme, wants cops to stop responding to attacks on Jews. And by the way, Jews in the New York City are victims of the majority of hate crimes. Not a plurality, but the majority of hate crimes against people in New York are against Jewish people. And you know, especially the religious hate crimes. Anyway, 345 hate crimes in New York City last year, more than all other minority groups combined, according to the New York Police Department data. Anti-Jewish crimes accounted for 54% of the 641 total hate crimes reported to police in the city in 2024. Since the beginning of the year, 60% of the 123 recorded hate crimes have targeted Jews, according to the New York Police Department. Well, Zohran Mamdani, the radical Islamist and leftist terrorist supporter, has proposed that New York Police Department not respond to hate crimes, instead that they be handled by social workers. Either this shifts resources away from responding to attacks on Jews and moves away from having law enforcement deal with those attacks, and instead has its political leftist allies deal with them by burying them. Right? My show. If I put something on the screen, or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single one that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Let's go! Yes! Let's go! Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. On this Monday, the 25th of August, 2025, Minnesota State Fair time. Minnesota State Fair started this past week, and I know that's pretty boring stuff to you, but to people in Minnesota, it's the Great Minnesota Get-Together. We have the second largest state fair in the country, only behind Texas, and it's phenomenal. And Lady Boomer and I are going this next Saturday for sure, maybe sometime during the week too, because there's the food, the people watching, the rides, the stuff that you can buy, which is way too much stuff to buy, the animals, the everything. It's just, our state fair is so awesome. And I'm telling you, people come from all around the world to come to our state fair. They average like 100,000 people on the weekend days, like Saturdays and Sundays. 100,000 people go to the Minnesota State Fair. And Minnesota's just slightly more retarded than Wisconsin. I was slightly more retarded than Wisconsin. Hey, listen. I don't care what you say. You can make fun of me all you want. You can make fun of Minnesota all you want. I'm not a Minnesotan. I am Minnesota by osmosis, being here since 1989, over 30 years. But I'm telling you, the first time I went to Minnesota State Fair, I was like, what the hell is this? This is awesome. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm telling you. It's worth literally. So like, we used to have this event in the winter in St. Paul. What do they call it? It's when the ice skaters go down those like tracks, whatever, they race down the tracks, that Red Bull something ice thing. They do that in St. Paul every year. That's one of the stops. And so people from all over the world come to that because it's an international event. And someone told those people apparently one year that, hey, you think this is great, you should come back for the Minnesota State Fair. And so a bunch of them did. So now every year there's not only just 100,000 like Minnesotans and people from the surrounding states, but people from all over the world. You meet people from, Finland and, Norway, all these Nordic countries that people have coming here to the Minnesota State Fair. It's kind of weird because, you're like, what language is that they're speaking? I don't even know what the hell they're saying. But anyway, enough about the Minnesota State Fair. Did you decolonize Cracker Barrel, P-Dawg? No. Look, that people are still talking about Cracker Barrel, and a lot of people think it's just about the logo, but there's a lot more to it. Yeah, their stock is dropping, and it's had a little uptick the other day, but. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to talk about Cracker Barrel today. Anyway, let's get this show started by saying hi to the gang. But first, we do have our first sponsor today. That'd be Mr. Avocado Diablo, and you are already the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Avocado Diablo. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, also known as 223, who says, did you see Democrat Socialist Party removed the Somali guy in Minneapolis for the mayoral race from the ticket for cheating? Now, okay, they didn't remove him from the ticket, okay? He's still on the ticket, but they removed their endorsement because they think he cheated, which look, if you, excuse me, if you pay attention at all the things that happen in Minnesota lately, most of them have to do with scandals, especially scandals of a certain immigrant community that seems to be able to fraud their way into billions of dollars. And there's like three of them going on at the same time. Tim Wall, excuse me, Tim Walls. What did I do? Did I shove coffee down the wrong part of my throat? Anyway, Tim Walls is tangentially involved in all these scandals because they look like charities and they're stealing billions of dollars. Well, apparently they figured out how to do it with the mayoral race. There's not technically a partisan mayor race, but they are partisan, and the Democratic Party always endorses somebody for mayor. And this year they endorsed this, the Somali guy that looked like the, I'm the captain now guy. And they endorsed him, and then they figured out, there might have been some cheating going on, which of course there was cheating going on because that particular community is very adept at cheating systems. So whatever. Anyway, so yeah, thank you, Avocado Stiabli, for bringing that up, because just showing how Minnesota's becoming a really corrupt state again. But, so thank you for that. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Speaking of Avocado Stiabli, he is also first in the chat and gets the bell. Thank you for your diligence. No big, well, what do you call it? No big gap in the distance between first and second today, because he obviously didn't get to shit talk long enough. Welcome, JB, who was right behind you. Also, good morning, TC. And yes, Avocado Stiabli, did I see the video of Rampage Jackson Kibb damn near committing murder in the wrestling ring? That's on the docket today. Yes, that's some, oh my God, that's messed up shit. TC, what up? Also, good morning to Kara Soldier, Mike Savage, Blarg. Those are two people if you're new here. Kara Soldier and Mike Savage, Blarg. Also, good morning to where is everybody? Oh, Tyler F's here. Renee Mayette. What up? Good morning. Happy Monday to you too. Unacceptable Views, my other favorite Canadians in the house. Blue-Eyed Scream, hello. Anon, 1, 2, 3, is here. Good morning. Who else? Rod Line, what up, man? Good to have you back. Welcome. Anna Lynn's in the house. Hello. Ercole Di Stefano. I'm going to call you Ercole from now on. You decolonized Cracker Barrel? Not quite. We talked about that just a second ago. Also, who else is here? Is that it? Green Badger Outdoors is in the house. What up? And Louie just made it by the skin of his teeth. How you doing, brother? And number one is also here. Welcome. So there you go. I prefer Irk. Like Urkel? Kind of like that? No, Irk. Just Irk. Okay, fine. It's going to be Irk from now on. Irk is in the house. Also, Willie just jumped into the chat. All right, now let's get this thing rolling. I'm not as late as usual today, but I'm late enough where I need to get cracking here. So, oh my God, and my gosh, we have the. I'm sorry, Tyre. We have the inspirational message from none other than Hope Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich, who says, "Blessings of the Holy Ghost be upon you all. This day was created for you by him to enjoy and thrive in." Thank you, sir. That's a very special message. I appreciate it. All right, shall we get into some work here? Because I've been jabbering and blabbering too long. Yes, by the way, hit the like button you haven't done so far. 25 people, 15 likes. That is, that's what it is. It's close, but not. I don't see you. No, I did see you, and you didn't get your music. What are you talking about? I said Avocado Stiabli, bell, cheer, and this. I did all three. You weren't listening. You were not listening. I hit it. Anyone? Chat, did I hit that? What? Wait a minute. That sounds weird. If I was like vernacular from 10 years ago, someone would be like, did he hit that? Who? No, I did not. All right, let's see. What was I doing now? See, you got me distracted again. You distract me all the time. You always distract me. And Tires, or you're deaf. You blame that. Okay, you just weren't listening. Oh, Ed Krasenstein. Speaking of Cracker Barrel, let's do a daily Krasenstein real quick. Ed Krasenstein, the first tweet I saw this morning from Ed Krasenstein. Just enjoying my breakfast at Cracker Barrel because I like their new logo. This is the greatest change that has come to breakfast since people realize that waffles don't care about your politics. Look here, bitch boy. And your uglier twin brother. Fuck you. That's all I got to say about it. I don't care where you're eating. In fact, you know what? Look, the Cracker Barrel thing, which I enjoy going to Cracker Barrel every now and then because they have really lovely pancakes and it's good for breakfast. I don't know if I'd go there for in the evening. I saw someone eating like a chicken dinner at Cracker Barrel. Like we went there for like brunch and someone got a chicken dinner and their green beans looked like they came out of a can. But the breakfast was awesome. I'm never going to knock the breakfast there. But I wasn't going there for political purpose or non-political purpose. I even said this when we were talking about this last week. I might go to Cracker Barrel again, but I don't really care. But still, the company is a lot of people go there because they like the nostalgia of what Cracker Barrel was about. You know, the old country store looking shit, and now they're trying to look all sanitized and looking like going to Denny's or Waffle House without the violence. And it's just not itself. It's no longer going to be unique if they go to this really generic bright colored place. And so if they want to do that, great. But some people are just like, no thanks, you all trying to get all woke and shit and all this other stuff. But to each his own. Enjoy your Cracker Barrel, Ed. I don't give a fuck. You're just, and I know you're just trolling because that's what you do, but whatever. So I responded to it because I successfully got trolled by Ed Krasenstein. There you go. But I don't care. I don't give a fuck. So there you go. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, by the way, good morning. Someone just showed up that I didn't see before. Who might that have been? Well, I don't, maybe not. I'm just seeing shit. Anyway, if I haven't said hi to you, just drop something in the chat and I'll say hi to you too. All right. So, by the way, thanks to people who've shared the stream, which I'm getting caught up on here. I got some of y'all retweeted already, starting with Somnambul Nation. And I don't see, are you here, Somnambul Nation? I see you retweeted, but I haven't seen you in the chat yet. Hello, Shrapnel. That's who I just saw. And Somnambul Nation, if you're here, hi, welcome. Dropping the link and whatnot. And then JB with the Let's Go with a little Rambo action. That's nice. And Lord Stanhope, good morning. And sound. Oh, you are here. Good. That's good to see. And Mike Savage with the Let Us Go. We got, who is this? This is, Renee Bayette. Let's get it on. What's that referee's name? He was famous. Is he dead yet? Vince Mill. Is that his name? Did I get that right? Something like that. He was something Mill. Vince Mill? Was that the ball-headed ref's name? I can't remember. Oh, Mills Lane. Yes, I knew there was a mill in there somewhere. Like General Mill, whatever, the old mill down the road. Mills Lane. Great. He was a great ref. I always liked him when he was reffing boxing matches. Anyway, also, there's the Somnambul Nation with the Manic Monday faux show. By the way, we will get to the faux show thing with the Snoop Dogg. You may or may have not heard this one. This is crazy. Judge Mills Lane, not Miles, and yes, he is dead. It's not Miles Lane, it's Mills. Right? Am I right? It's Mills Lane, not Miles Lane. If we go on Mandela effect on me or some shit, it's Mills Lane, right? Anyway, also TC retweeting out the show, appreciate it. And people are retweeting Tyre Alexander, CG, Simple Minds, Somnambul Nation, and JB. Thank you for doing that. Another gift from CG. Right there with the, yes, let's go. And the daily woo from Ric Flair from Tyre Alexander. So there we go. I got you all reposted. We are all set and ready to go. Let's talk about some stuff now. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh my God, I can't believe this. Hang on a second. Holiday calendar. I didn't even look at the holidays word. We'll skip the celebrity birthday because I'm not going to look up celebrity birthdays. Oh my gosh. This is great. I am excited. I'm going to have to go to who does a good dairy? Who's good banana split? Maybe I'll go to Cold Stone or not Dairy Queen because the Dairy Queen kids are don't understand the concept necessarily anymore. But there's some great places where you can celebrate this holiday. Ladies and gentlemen, it's National Banana Split Day. Yes! So celebrate National Banana Split Day with a delicious treat. Top off your bananas with the classic toppings and enjoy. Now, when I was a child, man, there was a Dairy Queen about a mile from my house. My parents would drive down there And holy smokes, the banana split was the epitome of a great thing to get at Dairy Queen. But it was so big when you're a little kid, but you're still like, oh, I'm eating the fuck out of this. Now, let me ask y'all. I'm going to ask y'all right now, and we're going to talk about this in the chat. Okay? Damn, I thought they were publishing an encyclopedia of asses. No. Banana split, okay? What are the three proper? Well, I kind of messed up because I already said three. The proper composition of a banana split, okay? The proper composition of a banana split. Because at my Dairy Queen, the banana split, you got a banana split in half on two sides of this little banana boat tub thing. They would have three sections of ice cream on it. There would be chocolate, strawberry, and pineapple with some whipped cream and a cherry. Now, no, who cares? They're nasty no matter how you make it. No, I love a good banana split. But then when I was getting older, people, you go to these places that, like if you go to Baskin Robbins and get a banana split, they're asking you, well, what kinds of ice cream do you want and all this other shit. I'm like, no, it's a banana split. It's vanilla ice cream with chocolate, strawberry, pineapple, and a whipped cream and a cherry. What kinds of ice cream do you put in a banana split? Oh, sometimes it could be chocolate ice cream, though. You could ask for it with chocolate ice cream, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. But yeah, they had the pineapple topping at Dairy Queen. I don't know why, but it was kind of good, and it fit. You got the three different tastes of chocolate, strawberry, and pineapple topping, and the banana and the whipped cream and a cherry. So that was, and sometimes nuts if you want it. Do you want nuts or do you want nuts? Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Anyway, I didn't want to get into a philosophical, discussion about banana splits, but that's, to me, that's a banana split. Ice cream just gives you diabetes and makes you fat. Well, if you eat it all the time, yeah, but if you have it at, with some discretion once in a while, you can eat some ice cream. So it doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't know why I'm doing this. This is crazy. Anyway, it's National Banana Split Day again. Fantastic. Also, Kiss and Make Up Day. I'm sure one of you have pissed off someone that would cause you to have to kiss and make up. Please do that today. National Secondhand Wardrobe Day. What? Oh, like going to the Goodwill and buying some shit? Okay. Every once in a while, I once was at a Goodwill because we were dropping some stuff off. We're like, well, let's go and see what they have in here. Because sometimes they have some good furniture or some appliance that you don't have that you're like, oh, well, there's one there for really cheap. And I found a pair of jeans that were my size, and they were brand new. Like someone gave this brand new pair of jeans to Goodwill. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm buying it. It was only $4 for a pair of jeans, like Levi's, in my perfect size. I was like, I'm buying them. So anyway, National Secondhand Wardrobe Day, National Park Service Founders Day. By the way, did you know? Now this is something we found out, Lady Boomer and I, that when you turn 62, like Lady Boomer just did, you can get a lifetime national parks pass for it's $8. It's really cheap. And you can go to any national park in the United States, for the rest of your life. One pass forever. And not just you, but if you put it on your vehicle, or I think it's a vehicle sticker or something like that. Anyone who's with you can go. So, I think it's an extra physical pass. But anyway, and so when I turned 62 in April, and if you take two cars, one of you in one car and one in the other, you can get your whole family and grandkids and everybody into the national park. So we're really excited about this because I love state parks and national parks and that kind of shit. I love all that, walking through nature shit. And so yeah, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Avocados Dabbly, thank you for another small bowl in the tip jar. I'll even give you music for that one. Avocados Dabbly with another small bowl in the tip jar asking, National Kiss and Make Up Day? What if the reason we need to make up is because of the random kiss in the first place? Oh, yeah. What if you kiss somebody else? Then you got to go back and kiss and make up, and you're just like, fuck, I really fucked that up. Yeah, good point. Good point. Thank you, Avocados Diabli. That was fantastic. All right. And then also, let's see, late summer bank holiday. What? What the fuck's a bank holiday? Oh, National Whiskey Sour Day. Who has always asked me about my, as a professional bartender? Which one of you asked me that shit all the time? Well, National Whiskey Sour Day. Okay, celebrate National Whiskey Sour Day in style with a delicious cocktail, sweet and tart. It's the perfect way to end a day. All right, I might have a whiskey sour today. Late summer bank holiday day, that's kind of weird. And then summer bank holiday in England and Wales. Oh, unwind on summer bank holiday, marking the end of the summer in England and Wales. A day off to soak up the sun or enjoy hearty British barbecue. British barbecue? Like, you mean in a country where ketchup is too spicy? What are you talking about, British barbecue? Maybe they should be cooking meat on fire. Anyway, and then it's Uruguay's National Independence Day. So congratulations on the holidays of the day. Moving on. People in news now. I try not to talk about sports too much, and this is probably going to go way over most of your heads. But apparently, Tommy Fleetwood is trending because Tommy Fleetwood is a golfer who won a big golf tournament. I think the PGA, was it the PGA Championship? No, it wasn't a major. What was it? But anyway, everyone was rooting for this Tommy Fleetwood guy. And I was watching this a little bit yesterday because it was on at the bar we were drinking Bloody Marys in. And everyone was all excited about Tommy Fleetwood. And I don't know, maybe he's been a guy who's been on the tour for a while and has never won an event. So he's finally won an event. The Tour Championship. That's what it's called. The Southern Something Tour Championship. And I saw like a tweet by Caitlin Clark was saying, oh, it's Tommy Fleetwood's day. But everyone's happy about Tommy Fleetwood winning, and I'm not sure. It's the 2025 FedEx Cup champion. Oh, is that what it is? I don't even know. Anyone worth the wait? Okay. Because he's had 164 starts in the PGA Tour, and this is his first win. So people were rooting for him, just like, it's finally this dude's day. He was up by like 3 strokes after the 16th hole, so I think it was a given that he won, but I didn't stick around long enough to see it. Anyway, so there you go. Now he just needs to marry a woman whose last name is Mac, or Mick, like as in Mick Fleetwood. Are the Brits allowed to barbecue? I don't think so. See, that's just it. You can't even, I don't think you even have open fires in Great Britain anymore. You can't say what you want, and then if you have a barbecue, some Karen's gonna look over the fence and go, oh, he's having a barbecue. I'm going to call the police. Yeah. Who knows? Anyway, congratulations, Tommy Fleetwood. That's what that meant. Moving on. Speaking of the Raja Jackson, Rampage Jackson's son, apparently he was at a professional wrestling event. I can't even show it because it was so violent. And this guy had to go, I know more about Raja Jackson, a person that I never heard of until this morning, than I do about this guy. Yeah, that's the guy who supposedly shot Donald Trump, and they killed him, so something went on there. But anyway, back to Raja Jackson. This guy, and I can't even show it. This dude, like, they're at his wrestling events, and he slams the guy down, and it's supposed to be all fake, but then all of a sudden he jumps up on this guy and the guy apparently got knocked out because he wasn't prepared for what the move that they were doing. Got knocked out, and then this guy just proceeded to just pound this guy in the face. It looked like a street fight, where the people kick people in the head, except he's just on top of him, pounding him like 21 times, broke his skull and all this other stuff. And apparently it was over what was supposed to be fake beef earlier on. And so now people are saying that this guy should be brought up on charges because he just beat the piss out of a guy who was knocked out. And anyway, he's Rampage Jackson's son, who is a famous MMA fighter. So anyway, there's someone here says, fucking rotten hell, Raja Jackson. Shit, defending Raja are sick as hell. Lock him in prison or an asylum. Raja wasn't doing a segment. He tried to kill. That attempted murder. No excuse, no defense. Stop spitting on pro wrestling, worthless trash. So anyway, he was at some point in the past. He said something like he'd love to beat the shit out of some professional wrestler. Well, he did, and I'll leave the link up here. You can watch that yourself. I'm not going to show it on YouTube just because it's very, very violent and bad. But lots of people pissed off at this guy. So after Raja Jackson and Seba Jackson, apparently they made up somehow. After an apology, this guy, AJ Mana, goes to Raja and tells him to give Psycho Stu a receipt, which means a real paycheck for something he did. For the beer, something. For the beer can work, which was planned and scripted. What a piece of shit. He instigated it all. Please share this and expose this piece of shit. Also looks like he's friends with Rampage, possibly. So this is the guy, because they did a bit earlier in which...
I know his shit, you fucking give him...
Hang on. Apparently at some, like a pre-event in this, whatever, they did this fake beer can thing, and he supposedly smashed him on the head with the beer can, and even though it was fake, Raja took it personally. And so this guy's egging him on to go beat the shit out of the guy.
I know his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. You remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt, bro. Tag his shit. If you got a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there. Tag his shit, bro.
So he's out there encouraging him to give him a receipt, which in the wrestling business means actually hitting him, like, for real. Well, he did over and over while the guy was down. Kind of like when someone gets knocked out in a street fight and people are still kicking him in the head and shit. So, let's see. Raja Jackson was not meant to slam or punch the man 22 times. This wasn't a part of the script and may have cost the man his life. Well, fortunately, the guy's not dead, but he's definitely got fucked up. And I'll leave the link in the chat at the end of the show, but I'm not going to show it on YouTube. So there you go. Moving on, and by the way, Rampage Jackson's also trending because of this, and some people are talking about this. Let's see what this guy has to say. This guy has thoughts, my thoughts on watching the video of Rampage's son. Crazy thing I've seen in 15 years involved in this type of sport. So this is a Kevin Lee, who's also a professional wrestler. If they start, but I'm going to cut this off if they start showing it. Hello, Puffer Smiles. What's up? And Monkey, what's up? What up, Monk? Nice to have you here. So here, let's see this guy's take on it.
Hey man, dog gotta go to prison.
Oh,
I usually don't like to involve myself in other men's situations, but I feel I'm qualified to speak on this. And dog messed up. And if it's Rampage, I love Rampage. But Rampage, turn your son in.
Hi, K Show. What up, Kirsten?
He gotta go lay down for a little bit. Like, if it was my son, that's what I would tell him. I mean, you a grown man, bro. You can't condone that type of behavior, bro. You gotta go lay down for a little bit. We'll get you a good lawyer. You ain't gonna be in there forever, but you gotta go lay down.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. He hit you in the head with a bottle.
It was fake, though.
I get it. He shouldn't have did that. I don't condone that either. But to wait.
But that was promotion. Like, you know, like it's like Stone Cold Steve Austin hitting you with a beer can. It's like, it's fake.
Hours until the man was working, which we all understand. He playing a character, and he was in character, and he working, and then you sneak him, because that's what you did. I mean, you snuck him. He wasn't expecting that, and you
knocked him the fuck out is what you did.
Flatline and was unconscious for 6 minutes afterwards.
Oh, damn.
Dog got to go lay down. You got to go to prison, bro. There's no...
Okay, you get the point. Here's the other part of this, too. After this he's beating the piss out of this guy while he's already knocked out. So some other wrestlers come and finally get him out of there. They realize that, oh, this is not part of the show. This is fucked up. They're getting him off there and, you know, basically having to fight him to get him to stop beating on this guy. And they get the guy out of there. And then the guy's on the ground and they still do the pin as this guy's on the ground. Instead of just waving it off, they still did the pin in the show, which is fucked up. And this guy had to actually go to, still had to go and take him off on a stretcher and shit. It was fucked up. Good morning, boneheaded dumbass. Nice to have you here. Another one of those great names on the internet, but who's not really a boneheaded dumbass. All right. So anyway, you get the idea on this. I'm not going to play more of that. The wrestlers are kind of shook on this thing. And I don't know if anyone actually condones what this asshole did, but yeah, he did. He went crazy. In fact, here, let's see. Someone here. Let's see. Who's this? Oh, this Rampage Jackson. Oh, wait a minute. Rampage Jackson posted something about this. Hold up. Let's read this shit. This is Rampage himself. I want to be clear. I want to clear up the misinformation about my son, Raja. I've been confirmed that the wrestler Stuart Smith, a.k.a. Psycho Stu, is awake and stable. Raja was unexpectedly hit on the side of the head by him moments before the Smiths match. Raja was told that he could get his payback in the ring. I thought it was part of the show. It was bad judgment and a work that went wrong. As in, give him work. That's the other one. Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and had no business involved in an event like this. I don't condone my son's actions at all. Good for Rampage for posting this. He suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago, and I had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. As a father, I'm deeply concerned about his health and his well-being and the well-being of Mr. Smith. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened, but my main concern now is that Mr. Smith will make a speedy recovery. I apologize on his behalf and to kick for the situation, which I don't know what that means. But anyway, so good on Rampage Jax for clarifying his position on this because, yeah, moments before was 6 hours. Yeah, it wasn't moments before. These probably saw a video assuming that this was something. In fact, I can show you. I can show you the promo part.
I'm good. Apologize for that.
Oh wait, did he apologize for the guy? Wait a minute, what's this? Rampage Jackson almost gets in a fight after wrestler smashes a drink. Or Raja Jackson. Here's the promo part where this guy's in character. Doing this promo. This is why this fight happened.
Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, I think that's a
See, notice. Now, I'm going to show you something. Just before that can hit him, let me see if I can stop it. He squeezed the can before he did it and hit him with it. This is one of those fake wrestling things where he hits you the side of their hand. This is what this is about.
Oh, you don't show it?
Easy. He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah,
and he said he's not. He thought he thought this kid was someone in the business, and they were playing this game while he's in character. Why didn't do that? Because that's wrestling promos. That's just how it is. And this guy got really upset about it. So somehow ended up in that match and ends up beating the fuck out of him. So obviously someone not in the business getting involved in a business that they have no business being in. And it did not go well it didn't go well for either of them. Let's just put it that way. All right, got a couple more notifications here of people who shared the show. Thank you. Who's this? Oh, Man-Squatch. Are you here, Man-Squatch? I don't even see you. And K-Shoal, of course. Thank you for sharing the show. Greatly appreciated. All right, back into more newsy shit. Uganda's trending. And Uganda's trending because our dear friend, what's his name? Abrego Garcia. What's his name? What's his first name? What the fuck's his first name? Kilmar might end up in Uganda. Kilmar might end up in Uganda. Now that Kilmar has been released from custody, someone here says Maryland man becomes Uganda man today. Enjoy Africa. So the big hubbub over Kilmar, where they got him back from Ecuador, or what is it, El Salvador? Got him back, and then he was in custody because of these charges against him. And then apparently, because he still has a deportation order, apparently they're talking about sending his ass to Uganda. Since they say they can't send him back to El Salvador, but they got a deportation order. The only place they cannot deport him to is El Salvador. So now they're saying, oh, well, then let's just deport him to Uganda, see if he prefers that. Apparently, Now, his attorney is worried about him being deported to Uganda because he can't speak the language. After 10 years of being in the U.S., he can't speak English. What? Wait a minute.
Un milagro, gracias a Dios.
Okay, this is his attorney. Why is the attorney speaking in Spanish? I mean, even it's okay. Maybe he's talking to a bunch of people who speak Spanish, but will he know the way? That's terrible. And look, I actually kind of, to be honest, I slightly feel bad for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, because if they do send him to Uganda, he's kind of screwed, because he clearly doesn't know the language there. I mean, he barely knows English here, and he, at least if they went back to El Salvador again, where and say, okay, he doesn't have to be imprisoned, he would at least, or why, instead of not El Salvador, how about Colombia? How about the Dominican Republic? How about Ecuador? Somewhere where they speak Spanish. They could, but they're saying, okay, fine, we're sending his ass to Uganda because y'all fucked with this too long. I'm not going to play this. If he's speaking in Spanish, I'm not playing this shit. He needs to speak English. But anyway, blame the Democrats for separating Abrego Garcia with his family from his family, not Trump. He was just fine in El Salvador. Now he's heading to Uganda. Good riddance. Okay. I mean, it sounds cruel, but he's got a deportation order. What are you going to do? The lawyers for Maryland dad, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, is contending it's preposterous for Garcia to be deported to Uganda because he doesn't speak the language. The official language of Uganda is English. And which he also doesn't speak when he's snuck into the United States. Oh my God. I'll open this link probably at my, here, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure it's not something goofy. Oh yeah, here. No, this just shows that where is it? Official language? Population, nationality, languages. Language, the official language of Uganda. This is a little world fact book on Uganda. The official language, right down here, right there, languages. English, the official language. Ganda or Luganda, most widely used in the Niger-Congo languages, of the language used most often in the capital. Other Niger-Congo languages, Nilo-Saharan languages, Swahili, Arabic. But English is the official language of Uganda, and his lawyers complaining that he does not speak the language in Uganda, where the official language is English, which is it's the most practical language in the land in which he wishes to stay, the United States. And even though technically not the official language, although Donald Trump wants to make it the official language of the United States of America, and for all practical purposes, it is. So sad. So sad. Okay, let's move on. Oh, by the way, here's the article from the Daily Caller. Is this a full article? Yes, it is. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was notified by immigration authorities that he may be deported to Uganda, according to reports. The Department of Homeland Security notified Garcia's lawyers on Friday that he may be deported to Uganda and requested for him to report to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement's office in Baltimore, according to an email obtained by Bill Milligan of Fox News. Quote, please let this email serve notice that DHS may remove your client, Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, to Uganda no earlier than 72 hours from now, absent weekends, the notice said. So, I wonder if he can request if he's going to be deported back to El Salvador. Or will the judge not allow that? Anyway, in other immigration news, and also from the Daily Caller, apparently another judge is blocking the Trump administration from something nationwide, which they were told not to do, from withholding funds from dozens of sanctuary cities. An Obama-appointed judge ruled late Friday that the Trump administration could not deny federal funds to dozens of cities and countries over their sanctuary policies. So they can't deny funds if if cities or municipalities or states or whatever break federal law, the judge says, sorry, you can't withhold funds. U.S. District Judge William Orrick, appointed to the bench in Northern California by President Barack Obama, extended a preliminary injunction that blocks the Trump administration from withholding or conditioning federal funds from jurisdictions that refuse to cooperate with federal immigration authorities, according to court documents. The lawsuit, originally filed by San Francisco officials earlier this year, has since taken on many other sanctuary jurisdictions as plaintiffs. The new plaintiffs have each alleged similar reliance on federal funding as the cities and counties, and filed declarations show similar harms to community health, welfare, and social services to their budgetary processes that depend on the regularly authorized grants of federal funding for a variety of critical needs, or stated in the court documents. The challenge sections of the Executive Order 14159 and 1412218, and the executive actions have parroted them threaten to withhold all federal funding from plaintiffs as sanctuary jurisdictions if they do not adapt their policies and practices to conform with the Trump administration's preferences and the law, asshole! That coercive threat and any actions agencies take to realize that threat or additional executive orders the president issues to the same end is unconstitutional, and I enjoin its effect. I do so again for the protection of any new parties in this case. Now, I am so curious right now. I am so curious. What is there exactly in the Constitution of the United States of America that requires the federal government to give the cities and states anything? How is it unconstitutional? He's going to get clarification. Yeah, I think so. I think that's going to be thrown out too. What is there something in the Constitution that requires the federal government to give cities money if they're not following federal laws? I'm not sure. I mean, maybe there's some twisted bullshit way to get there, but I don't think it's going to stand up. It's like, wait a minute. We're funding you. What did he say here? Okay, here's what he said. Here again, I'm going to read this part again because this is interesting. The plaintiffs, blah, 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 filed declarations showing that similar harms to community health, welfare, and social services enter their budgetary processes that depend on the regularly authorized grants of federal funding for a variety of critical needs. Why? Why? If they're critical, then stop breaking the law, asshole. What's that from Liar Liar? Stop breaking the law, asshole. That's I don't get it. That's crazy. All right. I've said my piece. Speaking of crazy cities, Chicago's trending. Now I can't remember why. Let me skip Chicago, Ray. Oh, because well, there's a whole bunch of things. I know part of it is because Trump keeps talking about trying to do the same thing in Chicago that he did in Washington, D.C. Now, that's a little trickier because Washington, D.C. is a federal jurisdiction, whereas Chicago is not. And, it comes off as they're going to call him a fascist. But, people who are talking about like the area around Union Station in Washington, D.C. have all been saying, holy shit, we've never seen this area this clean. There's not people hassling us. That we're not going to walk through this tunnel here and people aren't, trying to take money from us, and they're not trying to, there's not shootings, there's nothing going on. Like, this is the cleanest Washington has been in years. When they're like, I don't like Trump, but damn, this is kind of nice. I can walk in this area. So he wants to do the same thing in Chicago, apparently. That's at least the rumor. And so they're like, and Donald Trump's like saying, yes, oh yes, the black women in Chicago really want us to come down here, which I beg to differ. Although Chicago is MAGA country, I know that it's MAGA country, but I don't know that they're necessarily asking for it. But if that was the same result, they'd probably appreciate it. But there's, like I said, it's a little trickier because Illinois is a separate state. They didn't ask for it, and so lots of people are talking about Brandon Johnson and his desire or lack thereof to have the Trump administration come to Chicago. And Donald Trump, likes to talk about how Chicago might be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet, but he didn't. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but so anyway, Chicago's trending, and so I'm scrolling through this trying to figure it out why, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. So let me just give you a couple random Chicago tweets that have nothing to do with what I just said. First of all, this is someone says, I am epic. I'm a mother of 5 and an educated woman. I love it when my masculine man puts on his MAGA hat. This is a black woman talking about the MAGA hat. I don't. Is Chicago Ray? Is that him? No, that's not Chicago Ray. But anyway, this is and I don't. This may have nothing to do with what I was talking about at all. But this lady's talking about her husband putting on a MAGA hat. So here we go. Listen to this. Well, hang on. Here we go.
I am an African-American mother of 5, an educated woman. And let me tell you, I love when my masculine man puts on his MAGA hat. Why? I love it when he wears his MAGA hat not just because he looks sexy in it, y'all, but because it represents, look, show him, baby. Ooh. Because it represents this man's commitment to.
Now remember, let me just, anyone who's in here by accident or just passing through, remember, I'm not necessarily a MAGA guy. I don't own any MAGA gear. I don't anything that has Trump on it. I don't put things on my body that has other men's names on it just because it's that necessary. Unless it's like an inadvertent sports jersey or some shit. But I don't even wear those. I'm not into sports jerseys. But anyway, and my personal opinion is Donald Trump's a bit of a jackass, but we need a jackass to deal with all the other jackasses. Okay, so just a disclaimer there. But I don't have any problem with this. This woman likes her man in a MAGA hat, and good for her. Anyway,
God, his commitment to his country. And
I'll probably get dinged for this music. Hello, Selected Boy.
And that is why I love it when my man, my husband of 18 years, wears his MAGA hat, because this is a symbol of making America great again.
Now, I'm sure there's a bunch of people ripping on this lady, calling them, every slur and whatever they can come up with and shit. But and there's 1,100. Well, Chicago Ray's not the black guy putting it on, but he put it in the. I'm sure there's people talking about that shit. Anyway, also someone else who I said Puffer Smiles. Who was? Oh, Rick Ashbringer. What up? Nice to have you. The Constitution requires states to pay debts in gold and silver. When is the last time they did that? Don't know. I don't know. I do not know. Anyway, that's one of the Chicago things, but that wasn't really what I wanted to put on here. Let's see. This guy, not a single champion. Oh, okay. This is not cool. Here's one. Here's another one about Chicago. There we go. Here, Corey DeAngelis on News Nation.
Well, in Chicago, yeah, look, Ashana is describing the status quo perfectly. There is inequity built into the government-run school system. The public schools in too many places discriminate on the basis of zip code, and they're failing kids in too many places as well. In Chicago, there are 55 public schools with not a single kid proficient in math, yet they spend about $30,000 per student per year.
Holy Nikes! They spend $30,000 per kid per year in Chicago public schools? Holy. So, I'm going to give you a comparison. I think in Minneapolis public schools, they're like the highest in our state and probably have the worst results. I think that it's like 17 or 18,000 per kid per year in the public schools here. My school district in the suburbs is about 11,000 per kid per year. They're spending $30,000 per kid per year. That proves to you, or should prove to anybody, that money spent on schools is not necessarily driven by results or drive results. Obviously, if 55 schools have kids that don't have a single kid proficient in math per their grade, 29,000 of that goes to administrative costs probably. Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. They, obviously the schools have more problems, probably need more resource officers. Well, if they still have resource officers, I don't know. But yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Holy shit. Anyway, I'm gonna let him finish.
Which is about 50 to 60% higher than average private school tuition in that area.
Yeah, that's so they spend $30,000 per year on kid, and that's almost double what it costs to get private school tuition in Chicagoland area. It's crazy. I'm going to Chicago in a couple weeks. Did I tell you that? Yeah, we're taking Lady Boomer and I are taking Grandma to Chicago. We're excited about that. Well, they're taking a train because my mother-in-law loves trains, loves going on trains, and so she's going to go, and Lady Boomer taking an Amtrak, and I'm driving down there. I'm going to meet them down there. I'm taking the dog. We're going to walk around Chicago, the safe areas of Chicago. We ain't going to the south side, but we might. I have to say this very carefully because I don't want to say drive. But we're going to travel past Obama's house because my mother-in-law is a very proud Democrat, and so we're going to do that. And but we get along, so don't worry about that. But yeah, we're going to Chicago. We're going to go to a museum and maybe some other things. Anyway, that's an aside. But anyway, they spend a shit ton of money on schools in Chicago compared to even the private schools. Man, imagine if they had vouchers. Just a reminder, Illinois. Flip Illinois red, fire prickster. He has raised our taxes 15 times. Let's see. Wait a minute. The media told us that black people didn't want Trump to send the National Guard to D.C. That's actually pretty dope to see people making videos how peaceful D.C. is. Yeah, here's this lady. This is the one I was talking about how I'm sure they didn't want those National Guard troops in D.C., but this lady is telling you what it's like. Listen.
It's actually pretty dope to see people make videos from the DC area sharing how peaceful it is now since Trump cleaned up the streets. It's really dope to see and witness. And it's like all over.
It's 3 minutes long, so we're not going to watch the whole thing.
The nice areas.
Okay, Resolute Germ. Safe areas of Chicago, not so Chicago, Illinois. Look, Lincoln Park area is safe. Downtown during the daytime can be safe, I guess. Golden Mile safe. I mean, we're going to places that during the day that are safe. We're not going to be down there at night. We're not going to be there. Like I said, we're not going to the South Side. We're not going to Cicero or shit like that. If you don't know about Cicero, woof. Lincoln Park is safe during the day. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's safe places. Anyway, wait, her opinion is moot, though. She has a nose ring. No, come on now. You can't tell when a black woman has a nose ring, that don't mean anything. If a white pasty liberal chick has a nose ring, then you know. Especially if it's this one. What is that called right here? The one goes that shit. I call it a bull ring.
The Washington D.C. area. When I shared on my Facebook page and my IG. How there's a lot. Yes,
I'm sure I'm not going to go see Lincoln Park. That's a band. Lincoln Park area is north side. I mean, north of the Cubs Stadium and shit. It's some suburby shit, even though it's Chicago proper.
A lot of people who are really happy.
Septum piercing, yeah. Those chicks who wear the bull rings or whatever, septum piercings, that's stupid.
With the streets being cleaned up, ooh, a lot of people that I know where I'm from, which is PG County, they are like, no. It's unnecessary. No, it's this, is that. And it's just, for anyone that thinks that this isn't necessary, it really does sadden my heart for people who think like that. It's like you just want to think the worst of the worst.
Wild Wolf.
Negative, nasty mindset. And like a lot of these people that move like this, they claim they're Christians. They claim they are believers.
This goes on a little too long, but I'll leave a separate link for it because it's there's a lot of videos of people talking about how it's kind of nice here now it's cleaned up. You know what I mean? Oh shoot, what did I just do there? I meant to do this. I'll put a separate link for this. There we go. Copy link. There we go. Paste. There we go. Anyway, site can't be reached. What the bloody hell? I'm gonna try this one more time, and then I'll admit that I'm retarded if it don't work. There we go. Boom. All right, there you go. There's the separate link for that lady. That's another Chicago Ray video. All right, there we go. All right, Anne Frank is trending. Now, this is another one of those banned book things that people talk about where they go, oh, they're banning books. And it turns out to be a lie. So apparently, someone named Scott Weiner. Yeah, is this the senator from California? That douchebag? Oh my God, it is! It's this douchebag senator from California. Senator Scott Weiner is telling people that Florida banning the Diary of Anne Frank tells you everything you need to know about the MAGA movement. So this has been getting a lot of play. There's 2,700 replies to it on X, 6,300 retweets, 38,000 likes, and a shit ton of saves. Okay, Florida banning the Diary of Anne Frank tells you everything you need to know about the MAGA movement. Now, this is fascinating because, first of all, the diary recommended reading 6th through 8th grade in Florida in their teacher guidelines just happens to have a little book called The Diary of Anne Frank on the list. Okay? Now, what had happened was this is not the Diary of Anne Frank that they took out of the school. One school district took out a specific version, not virgin, but version of the Diary of Anne Frank, confusing the original Diary of Anne Frank with the 2018 graphic adaptation, which has explicit graphics not suitable for youngsters, tells you everything you need to know about miscreants like yourself. Okay. And so someone here says, the Holocaust was graphic and horrific. If Jewish kids could suffer and die, little Dylan can handle learning about it. Bitch, that's not the problem. Same reason and this is a good point, same reason Schindler's List was rated R. Here's a hint. It wasn't for sexual content, but for violence inappropriate for young audiences. Okay. So first of all, he's bullshitting anyway, but here, somewhere down here, they'll tell you what actually happened. As school districts have removed certain adaptations of Anne Frank's diary for review, here's a little thought. Well, people who hit Anne Frank were breaking the law. The people who were killing her father. That doesn't matter. It's funny because people like to use Anne Frank for their own purposes. And here's an example. Sickening scene in Milan's main cathedral. A woman smirks holding a poster of Anne Frank in a keffiyeh, like for the Palestinians, while mocking the Star of David with an upside-down Palestinian flag triangle. This vile perversion of Holocaust memory must be investigated by authorities immediately. That's asking someone's political speech. I don't think it needs to be investigated, but I think this person should be shunned for the rest of her fucking life. But I don't know. I don't want people investigated who put up stupid like shit. I want people like this to be exposed, not arrested. But anyway, someone says this didn't happen. Indeed, the book is on the mandatory reading list, as is the topic of the Holocaust more broadly. One Florida school did pull a graphic novel based on Anne Frank. Right or wrong, the charge there was that it minimized, not focused on the Holocaust. And look, if parents want to go and buy that book in a bookstore or order it on Amazon, the book is not banned anyway. It was strictly for the graphic depictions in the book that may be not suitable for young children. The Diary of Anne Frank is on the recommended reading list even for that fucking school district. So they can all fuck off and stop lying. Hello, Nomad. What's up?
Hammer time.
Moving on. How much time? I'm doing good. I'm okay. All right, Wes Moore's trend, because I got to get to this Snoop Dogg thing. I'll get to it. Apparently, another Democrat with stolen valor. Apparently, Wes Moore, who's been touted as a possible presidential candidate in 2028, apparently also is a stolen valor dude. Why are the Democrats always pushing presidential candidates that lie about their military service? John Kerry, Richard Blumenthal, Tim Walz, and now Governor Wes Moore. Apparently, Maryland Governor Wes Moore falsely claimed to be a Bronze Star recipient on White House fellowship application, says it was an honest mistake. Wait a minute. So, how exactly on a White House fellowship application, you look, this is not something that's like you accidentally checked a checkbox. You know what I mean? How exactly do you accidentally write in a place where you'd have to write it out because there's no checkbox for it that you are a Bronze Star recipient? How is that a mistake? An honest mistake? That sounds more like a dishonest mistake. You know what I mean? That's a dishonest mistake. Is there an article on this anywhere? 46% of Maryland voters are Republicans and independents, and Wes Moore wants 100% Democratic representatives in Congress. For a state that is reliant on the federal government as Maryland, what is the governor proposing as economic suicide? Oh, is he trying to do some gerrymandering too? Let's see what he says here.
Redistricting or gerrymandering as some
Oh
people
my God!
know it.
Maryland is gerrymandered the fuck already. That's one of the worst, between Illinois and Maryland, they're the worst gerrymandered states in the country. Are they actually thinking about this?
You've said you don't like talking about it, but all options are on the table when it comes to your state. There's only one seat here that is actually...
In fact, the Supreme Court's already slapped Maryland a couple times for gerrymandering. Not from the favor of Republicans, by the way.
Republican, and it's a seat held by Representative Andy Harris. Are you...
They have one Republican representative in Maryland.
Considering trying to redraw lines in Maryland?
Yeah, when I say all options are on the table, all options are on the table.
Are you actively looking at it now?
Yeah, because I think we have to. Yes.
You're already gerrymandered. How can you gerrymander Maryland more? Oh my God, more, that is no pun intended.
This is what people hate about politics in the first place, the fact that the President of the United States, very similar to what he did in Georgia, where he called up a series of voter registrants and said, I need you to find me more votes.
Okay, that's a lie. You know that's a lie. That they've been telling that lie to death. He didn't say, we're going to ask you to get... He was, never mind.
We're watching the same thing now where he's calling up legislatures around the country and saying, I need you to find me more congressional districts.
He's doing it. That may be different. But
is he doing
Democrats redistrict. You know this.
Yeah.
But Gavin Newsom's doing it right now. A few years ago in New York, we saw this. This can
You're
backfire.
right. It did not happen.
Do you really want to go down this road?
It's a bullshit story.
I want to make sure that we have...
Okay, I'm sorry. So that's what's trending. Anyway, but again, Wes Moore and the Bronze Star he claimed but never received. For years, Maryland governor faced questions about whether he had wrongfully said he had a Bronze Star. He insisted no, but old documents prove otherwise. It's funny because he made some tweet yesterday, President Bone Spurs will do anything to get out of walking, even if it means spouting off more lies about the progress we're making on public safety in Maryland. Hey, bitch, you're the one who said you had a Bronze Star, never had it. So that's not a mistake. You have, like I said, you can't accidentally check a checkbox that said, I want a Bronze Star. Tyre, you're a resident of Maryland, right? I need you to warn me that you are showing anything related to Wes Moore. I'm sorry, Tyre. I'll have some kind of a horn, or something. What would be a good sound for Wes Moore? Oh, I know. Anything Wes Moore says.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
There you go. Perfect. All right, next. John Thune's trending. Mainly people are bitching about John Thune's being holding up Trump nominees. I don't need to go through that. I want to get to Snoop Dogg. And the name of the stream today, as you know, Steppin' in it, because Snoop Dogg stepped in it over the weekend and has a certain community clutching pearls and pulling, petals off daisies and shit, whatever that means. Snoop Dogg was a little upset because he took his grandson to the movie and came back saying something that has people upset. So here's I'm gonna play it first, and then we're gonna show you some reactions because But by the way, the subtitle today, right here, where it says "If Martha Can't Do It" edition, because everyone thought Snoop Dogg would be canceled when he started doing all that shit with Martha Stewart, right? And he and Martha Stewart are good friends. And, the felon and the homemaker, which are both Martha Stewart, and everyone thought he'd be canceled for hanging out with Martha Stewart. So anyway, here's Snoop Dogg talking about his experience at the movies with his grandson, and you'll know immediately what he did wrong if you listen to this. Here we go.
I took my grandson to see, what was the movie with Buzz Lightyear?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz.
Mm-hmm.
The Lightyear. I think it's called Lightyear.
Yeah, with Keke Palmer's in that movie.
Okay.
She plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Keke's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman.
Oh,
shit.
no.
I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie.
Wait for it.
Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. This
is his grandson saying this stuff. And Snoop ain't having it.
Both women's. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, fuck me, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for. I took my grandson.
Now, let's just say that the usual suspects are not happy with Snoop Dogg, making fun of him for saying, I'm scared to go to the movies now, right? I'm telling you, they are at least, how would I say, they are metaphorically all up in Snoop's ass over this. And let me just show you some examples here. So wait, first, here's Damme Lucre. Well, he just highlighted it, whatever. And some people are saying Snoop is right. People are tired of paying to watch kids' movies only to get force-fed agendas. Yeah, look, as you know, Lady Boomer and I are one of those, we're into streaming different TV series. And right now, for example, we're streaming, what's it called? The one with the tattoos. Shoot, what's it called? I forget. We've been watching it for every episode of it. But you can any series you watch on Netflix or Amazon or whatever, you watch a series, you can kind of tell, let's say there's 6, 7, 8 seasons, right? You can tell when all of a sudden they hit around, not Prison Break, the one with the gal that they find her in a suitcase with tattoos, and then she comes out and she becomes a FBI agent. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, but if you watch any series that started before, say, around 2020, you can tell when they hit the early 2020s, because all of a sudden, like even we're also watching Quantum Leap. It happened with Quantum Leap too, although they started out with this non-binary character. But you can tell if anything that starts about the 2020s, where they what's the movie? What's it called that we're watching? Here, let me look it up. Hang on, because now y'all are asking me and I can't think of the name of it. Hang on, it's not the dragon tattoos. Here, let me go with Netflix here. Blind Spot. Thank you, Avocados Diablo. Blind Spot. That's when we're watching. And you can tell it started before 2020. And then as it gets into 2020, all of a sudden you have all these themes of LGBTQ, or they suddenly, all of a sudden, the cast gets super diverse. They'll have like that, and they'll try to find a representative from every fucking ethnic group that they can just sneak into the story, whatever. All of a sudden, there's a Muslim here and there's a Sikh there, and all of a sudden, you know, the white FBI associate director becomes a black FBI associate director. They end up switching places, whatever, right? And like, or in what was it? Quantum Leap. You know, they did a reboot of Quantum Leap, and the first year's episode, they had one guy on there that, you know, he dressed like a woman, and they never explained that he was non-binary. He never claimed to be a woman. But then all of a sudden, in one episode, there's a character in 1950, this woman who's just like, I'm confused. I don't really feel like a man or a woman. And the Quantum Leap guys, oh, well, you're non-binary, blah, blah, blah. And there's like, a non-binary? Oh, I never heard of that. No one was talking about that shit in the 1950s. Okay? No one had those questions because no one ever even thought of that shit. But anyway, you can tell when that happens, right? And you know, when you watch TV or you watch movies now, it never fails that they're going to have two guys banging each other, or they're going to have some women kissing, or they're going to have some, you know, really androgynous looking person or whatever. They always have to fit it in, like as if it's everybody's life and everyone, you must, and you know, and they always try to have some really, like they'll shoehorn in sub explanation of this, why they're using they them pronouns for this person. It's just it's hilarious. Okay, you can't watch anything without there being an agenda post 2020. And so I know exactly what Snoop's saying here, and I know that, you know, I'm thinking about my grandkids. If we start going and watching TV or watching movies, I'm like, oh, are they going to get this agenda, whatever, not whatnot? How about just let kids be kids until they grow up, and then they can go, oh, I like the same sex or whatever. I don't care about that. But it's like, we don't need to necessarily make it like we don't have to like throw it into everything. And they throw it into everything. Now you cannot get away. In fact, Lady Boomer and I almost have made a game out of this. It's like, okay, like you see the cast of characters. Okay, which character is going to be gay? You know, or which character is gonna, you know, who's the first character that's gonna kiss someone of the same sex? Because it's gonna happen in just about everything you watch. So anyway, Snoop's taking a beating over this, at least metaphorically, because I'm pretty sure he don't give a fuck. He's worth millions. Let's see. Reply. Snoop speaks for millions of parents tired of Disney's forced agenda. They are shoving this garbage into kids' films and ruining the experience. Okay, some people are supportive of Snoop on this. But then there's others who put shit like this. Snoop Dogg, when he sees a gay person, I'm so fucking scared. That's not what he said. I just don't want to have to explain this shit to my grandkids. You know, I don't need this. Snoop has fuck you money. Yeah, he does. What else here? Oh, Snoop Army. Hey, Snoop, this your son? Tell your overlords to turn down the LGBTQ plus propaganda on the kids and get your own household in order. Oh, damn. But anyway, Pop Snoop didn't know how to answer his grandson about two women having a baby in a Lightyear movie because two women can't have a baby. So, he, you know, and maybe he should let his parents explain it. Snoop Dogg says he's scared to go to movies now because of a gay couple being depicted in a children's film Lightyear. I didn't come here for this shit. Right, he didn't. Oh, Snoop Dogg has a murder trial and a prison sentence in his past, but he's worried about explaining the existence of lesbians. No. But why would he have to? Does he have to explain how people get pregnant and to his grandson? I don't know. And look, I don't have anything against lesbians or gay people. I don't give a shit. People live their lives. If they're happy, and I'm not part of it, you know? Or I am a part. I have friends. I've been to gay weddings. I don't care. Even if I don't necessarily in my mind go, this is the same, this is not the same. It doesn't matter. If my friends are happy, they're happy. I don't care. But I don't need to have to promote it either. And most of them don't promote either. They're just people who do what they do. Don't care. But anyway, that's why Snoop, in some ways, is getting canceled. Like here, you're making grow up tough though. There are no opportunities for our own kids in impoverished areas. That has nothing to do with Snoop. Oh, that's Snoop. That's Snoop himself. Oh, he's talking about. Oh, that's not actually him though. That's a fake Snoop account. Shock alert. Snoop Dogg has had enough. Rapper speaks out against wokeism after taking his grandson to Lightyear, which featured a lesbian couple. They're putting it everywhere. My grandson in the middle of the movie is like, Papa Snoop, how would she have a baby with another woman? I mean, he could have just said, well, she didn't really have it with the woman, but, you know, there's something that happened. Somebody ejaculated to make that happen. We don't know where, how, or what, but it happened, and that ain't, you know, they just try to make that shit look normal. So anyway, all right, I am kind of out of time. I do want to address one last thing, though, before I go, and there's some other things open, and I have the Ace of Spades blog aggregator, lots of articles from shit from over the weekend. But I'm going to address this last one thing here because this young man on YouTube, this guy, Javon Bradley, he's one of these kind of guys who sits on the internet every afternoon and debates people, and he's left wing, and he likes to talk about trans people and whatever. And he thought he was very clever with this one. And it's funny because people who call into his show are people not well versed. He's like, if you know how Charlie Kirk does this debates on college campuses, and the people come up, they're mad and they're emotional and they don't really have great arguments, and Charlie Kirk is very well versed at making arguments against these people, and so it's kind of not fair. And so I was more impressed when Charlie Kirk went to Oxford and debated, because I'm not a fan of Charlie Kirk, but I appreciated how he debates at Oxford. But this is the left-wing version of this. There's these dude bro debate guys on the internet who encourage people to call in and debate them, and the people who call in are not necessarily prepared with great answers, you know, because they sometimes they don't even know what the fuck this guy's talking about. And here's a good example of that. And you got to hear this, because this guy thinks he has a great definition, a great bulletproof definition of what is a woman that nobody can figure out. Okay, that fits the gender ideology movement and cannot be taken down, because I'll explain in a second. Maybe.
I ask you.
Let's try this again. There we go.
If we're asking about definitions, can I ask you your definition of a woman?
Yeah, an adult human whose gender identity aligns with their personal schema on the female sex.
Okay. Did you catch that? In fact, let's see. He said a woman is anyone who excuse me. That's not what he said. Hang on. His definition: an adult human whose gender identity aligns with their personal scheme on the female sex. Now, he thinks that's a bulletproof definition. And unfortunately, the guy who called didn't do very well on this. Listen.
So if I have a biological female, someone who's born female,
yep,
that has short hair, she drives a truck, she works as a mechanic.
Good for her.
Would you say that's performing the general, stereotypical actions of being a man?
Now, that answer is not very good, because he didn't really address the definition, right? And these guys are going to make fun of him for it. Listen.
What would that have to do with my definition?
Nothing.
It doesn't. That when they're like,
you...
my script was not prepared for you to give a definition other than what I was prepared for. So I'm going to add words to it, like stereotypical, as though that you said that, and see if I can trick you.
He's so brilliant. He can't understand my definition, right? Okay, so let's talk about this. And I'm going to just read my reply to this, because this is interesting. So it's funny to me that, by the way, that people are surprised by this guy's, or that they're even stumped by this attempt to disguise the same circular reasoning that people use when they say, well, a woman is someone who identifies as a woman. He did the exact same thing. Listen again to his definition. He said, let's see, where he said, an adult human whose gender identity aligns with the personal scheme of the female sex. Isn't that just a roundabout way of saying a woman is someone who identifies as a woman? So clearly, the standard answer people give is a woman who identifies as a woman. And that's insufficient, because it's obviously circular reasoning, but he attempted to change the wording to disguise the fact that he was saying the same fucking thing. It just muddles it in vagueness. So looking closely at his definition, okay, it's still a circular definition. It loops back onto itself. He mentions female sex, but he doesn't explain what that means. So does female sex have a definition within his definition? And if it does, then how does one have a personal scheme, as he says, on something that's already defined? But if it doesn't, if female sex doesn't have a definition, then this is, again, it's just like saying a dog is a creature that is dog-like. So with the term, and also with this term personal scheme, someone has a personal scheme on the of the female sex. So you defy any definition by allowing everybody to have their own definition. It may work if your goal is inclusivity, right? But it renders the definition meaningless, since each individual could interpret the female sex differently based on biology or culture or personal scheme. The definition does not have a shared objective foundation, making it impossible to apply it consistently across different contexts like policy or legislation or social norms. And also, he says it aligns with their personal scheme on the female sex, which no definition of female sex. So that's really vague. What do you mean aligns with? How? How does it align with it? The superficial behavior, like clothing, hair, physical appearance, stereotypes? It's not clear enough for the real world areas, like if you're asking about medical care or safety or private and public spaces or policy. Biology, physiology is mentioned, female sex, but it's brushed off for aligning with that female sex. So when I say, or anyone says that a woman is an adult human female, it's based on biological and physiological human development, including any of the extremely rare developmental anomalies that make the intersex conditions, because they'll always bring that shit up. There are concrete markers that have nothing to do with personal feelings, in which I can use the definition in all but the most extremely rare situations. Even when there is ambiguity in those physical markers, there is scientific ways to resolve almost any issue that comes up when I say adult human female. So in his definition, being a woman or a man or whatever is just some vague feeling based on the perception of behaviors or appearances of others. It's not a functional definition, except within gender activism and alliances. And even there, it causes confusion and disruption because his definition is not a definition. And on that note, I got one last super chat, aka Streamlabs, who says, Avocado Diablo says, he basically said a woman is someone whose gender identity is the same as their actual gender. He himself said trans women are not women without even meaning it to. Exactly. It's the same definition with fancier verbiage. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I have got to go. Let me close a couple windows here and I'll put the links in the chat and we will be off to the races. By the way, I missed a couple here. Hang on a second. Just a second. Before I go, though, before you click, don't click yet. A few more people. Thank you for sharing the stream. That would be, who would that be? Reaction Puerto Rico with a little Van Damme dance. That's nice. And he also reposted my tweet. And somebody else there. Who's this? Oh, and Swamp Foxos. Thanks for sharing the stream. That's it. Okay, let me link these. Let me drop these links in here and then we can get the fuck out of here because I don't want to be late to my other gigs. So, oh no! What the hell happened there? Somehow. What the fuck happened there? That's not good. All right. Shit. Where's my one tab link? It closed again. All right, well, I'll drop the links in the description. I'll have links for everything later. This is my computer's fucking up and all my windows are closed now. So that's all I got to do. Thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. My name's PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.